Welcome back to Riley Everyday as we continue our countdown through the top 5 storylines in the ACC for next season. And checking in at number 1, what will Jon Scheyer's Encore be? Because Duke is coming off of a banner year in which it won the ACC tournament, and reached the Final Four. However, a loss to Houston that was both catastrophic and heartbreaking stymied the Blue Devils' national title hopes. Nevertheless, as they have done for the past decade plus, they reloaded through the high school ranks and retained some key pieces. It's yet another balanced roster with great depth and future pros that will keep them toward the top of the league. In fact, the amount of sheer talent on this team is so high that it gives them an incredibly high floor. It's hard to envision them falling past a 3 or 4 seed come tournament time. But the progression of the newcomers, intertwined with the development of the returnees, will determine how high they can climb. And it starts with Cam Boozer, a projected top 3 pick in next year's draft. He rolls out of bed with 20 and 10 and has been a winner wherever he has gone, from high school to the EYBL ranks to Team USA. And he'll function as that playmaking 4 archetype that Duke has had so much success with. And yet he's not the defender or facilitator that Cooper Flagg is. He doesn't have the handle or the size of Paolo Banchero, and he isn't as bouncy or smooth as Marvin Bagley. And yet, he's just as productive. He's an absolute dog with a non-stop motor, and he has an exceptionally high feel on the court. He has a nice face-up game. He's great at attacking from the nail or the short corner, makes really smart passing reads out of the post, and of course, as the number suggests, he is a tireless rebounder. This might sound blasphemous coming from a UNC fan, but he's really easy to root for. I'm sure I'll feel differently once he's wearing that royal blue, but for the time being, I enjoy watching him. But that brings up the question, who will be the number 2? The most obvious candidate is Isaiah Evans, who's coming off a ridiculously efficient freshman campaign. He made 62 threes at a 42% clip, and he's really good at coming off of flares and pin downs and just lethal at knocking down spot-up threes in transition. But he didn't shoot a ton inside the arc last season, as the shot chart shows, and moreover, he only played 19 total minutes across Duke's final 4 games. Now, it's totally understandable to project a breakout for him given his pedigree. He was a 5-star kid who was a McDonald's All-American, but I just wonder if he's best suited as a third option where there's less creation responsibility on him. And that brings us to Dame Sarr, the Italian wing coming over to Durham. He offers a lot of the same contested shot making and 3-point shooting as Evans, but he's much more dynamic with the ball in his hands. He's also 6'7" with a 7-foot wingspan, so he has all the physical tools. Now, I know some folks in the industry view him as more of a prospect than a producer, but I'm going to stake my claim and say he's Duke's second best player this season. He played 15 games in the EuroLeague last year and 12 in Spain's top domestic league. Just seems like the ACC should be a super easy transition for him. That gets us to the 3 high upside wildcards: Caleb Foster, Pat Gongba, and Nick Hamenia. Now, Foster re-earned a role through the final 8 games last year after bringing a ton of defensive intensity. This followed being a liability on that end of the court through the first part of the season. His assist number spiked as well, but the key for him will be developing into a more versatile scorer. His 3-point shot has been up and down throughout his career, and he hasn't been particularly effective around the basket. Now, a little bit more consistency and a clearly defined role could help him have a true breakout. Then there's Gongba, who also came on strong down the stretch of the last campaign, particularly when Malik Brown was hurt. He showed a lot of those traits as a lob threat and a rim protector that once made him a 5-star recruit, and this year he's likely to share those starting duties at the 5 with Brown. And finally, we have Hamenia. He's got size and shot making at 6'8" and a really good playmaker as well. To make a crosstown Tobacco Road comp, he reminds me a little bit of Harrison Ingram. So all in all, I have Duke second in my ACC rankings behind Louisville, and think it would be almost impossible to replicate their dominance from last season. However, that doesn't mean they won't be a national title contender. It's not always your best team that gets it done. It could be the year after the year. So that's it on our top 5 ACC storylines, rounding it out with number 1.